In this episode, I wanted to discuss the soul or the mind of the human person and how it relates to the body and the spirit. This is a series I've been giving on understanding human personhood. And the soul, which again we can think of as the energy that powers the body, but it is also the mental faculties. It interreacts with the body primarily through the brain, coming through the central nervous system, and then sending out the commands to the body. This is now what I'm about to give you is strictly my own opinion. It's nothing more than that. Please don't look at this as sort of a church dogma or a church teaching. It is not. It's just my way of looking at it. But we tend to look at the human brain as a bucket or a storage device, and somehow all of the information, our memories and everything else are somehow stored and processed. And as a result, even though they can isolate areas of the brain that seem to be concerned with particular functions like sight or smell or hearing or taste, they still don't really understand how the brain works and how it does what it does. And what I submit to you as merely my own theory, and it's just that, is that the brain is actually more of like an antenna. That it is transmitting and picking up on the signals, let's say, the influences of the human soul, and converting them into sensations and perceptions that the body can handle. Now, all three of these things together come to be who we are as persons. But the soul is primarily involved with, again, the movement of the body, the commanding of the body, and is also our thought processes, our rational aspect, our reasoning abilities. It takes the signals of the body and turns them into perceptions, and then gives the body commands as far as how to react to those things. So the soul is a critical aspect of our human person. However, the soul is really specifically designed to be with the body, and this is one of the things that I want to bring up, is that in the Orthodox teaching, it's not that the soul is superior to the body. In fact, we grant the body a great deal of respect in the Orthodox Church. When somebody dies, we don't simply just toss the body out into a river or off a cliff. It is cared for as a gift from God, and it is part of the person. And it is, in fact, that idea that is behind for saints' relics and how we venerate the human body. But at the same time, the soul is absolutely necessary. But again, in getting into the idea of spirituality and the soul, one thing that is very troubling, let's say, problematic, is when people reduce their spirituality to merely the rational aspect of the soul, where their spirituality, their religious life is merely about their thoughts. And that is a very, very dangerous territory to get into, because we are also spiritual beings. And, to be a spiritual person does not mean that you are irrational. And this is what I really want to emphasize, is that when we say that not all aspects of a spiritual life are subject to being thought about or understood perfectly, it does not mean that we are irrational beings. Spiritual persons are what we could almost say is super rational, that certain aspects of the spiritual life are simply not expressible. They can't be. They're things that can't be uttered. They can't be explained. They simply are, and they are known to us, but we cannot reduce them to a particular vocabulary or set of labels. We must be very careful, though, that in our spiritual journey that we do not become irrational. Things are subject to to the thought process as to what makes sense here. And one of the things that we can do is look to the results of what it is that we are experiencing. The rational person can look at a particular teaching and then look to where it has been applied and how it has affected the person who's used it, and make certain decisions. And this is why truly spiritual life is not about blind faith. Blind faith says, oh, you can't question this, you don't understand it, but you can look for evidence. And this is why in the Orthodox Church, you can't quite see, but behind me we have some icons of various saints, and they are to us evidence of the truth of our faith, that it works on, if it works on these other people, it'll work on me. 1st century, 21st century, male, female, educated, uneducated, rich, poor, it all works. So that is the aspect of the soul, and it is the soul and the body together that perceive the elements of the spirit that make up our human person. And so these are just a few things to think about as you are on your spiritual journey.